Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Jemma, and joining me this week, I have the one and only Kirk. Welcome back, Kirk.
Hello.
Hello, it's just the two of us this week. Ready to talk about
I'm,
all things Nintendo?
of course,
Of
of
course.
course. Two of us, 10 of us will be able to fill the time slot.
Absolutely. Yes, so we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about again this week from new games out this week. PAX Australia is coming up, so I want to touch on that. We've got some new Pokemon Legends content, Kirk's feature, as well as the upcoming Halloween celebrations and the games we're playing. So let's kick things off with the big games of the week, starting off with Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, which just came out on October the 2nd. You can get these as a bundle, $69.99, or separately for $39.99 each. Now, a lot of there's, I guess I wanted to ask you, Kirk, because we touched on this when it was announced. Is this, and because online this week I've seen a lot of people very enthusiastic, which I think is great. I think a lot of people, I think this collection of games, if you can call two games a collection, this series of two games is very popular. We like these games, right? You have played them, I've played them. They were on the Wii originally, I think 2007 and 2010
Hmm.
respectively was both the release dates of those two. Now I have got this package. Nintendo Australia actually kindly offered me a code, so I'll be reviewing this one. Have given it a go. I started. Do you want to guess which one I started with? One or two?
You started with, well, it seems obvious to say that you started with the first one, so I'm going to say you started with two.
You are correct. I did.
Yes.
And I think I did that because I'm more familiar with the first one, so I wanted to jump into the second one and play that first. Also because, yeah, like you said, it seemed more obvious through the first one. I don't do what's the most obvious thing.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. So we know the thing about the games is we already know they're great games. Like they're fantastic. They're very well received. They're very popular. They're beautiful. They were already beautiful even on the Wii. We've had, I guess, a Switch version kind of report of Super Mario Galaxy 1 previously. I don't think there were any enhancements to that, though. Maybe some minor graphical enhancements. But these are full graphical enhanced versions of the game. And they look beautiful. Like they look stunning. They're really, really pretty. I am playing it on the Switch 2. I do believe there's a Switch 1 version. Is that correct? These are on Switch 1 and 2. I should have checked that before the show. Sorry.
Well, let's see. I
Um,
think Switch Super Mario
I believe.
Galaxy 2. Yeah, that's funny. They don't like state at the, well, this is one of those fancy pages with way too much information
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of just giving you the thing. So I don't see where they specify.
Mm,
So yeah, I'm assuming it's compatible with both. It doesn't say Switch 2 only.
yes. Yeah, you're right there. So it is definitely playable on Switch 1 and 2. Yeah, so it's, I guess the thing I could talk about that's different is the graphics, which I've kind of touched on, and like I said, it is lovely. Mario, when he gets the star, power star at the end of a level, and there's kind of that little animation, it just looks really nice. I tried the assist mode, and I was kind of thinking of you a bit, Kirk, because especially when we review games, sometimes we do the easier mode because we want to play it, get through it a bit faster, right?
Hmm.
And also because I played these games before, I felt, and that sounds like Squid Game. I don't know how familiar with the Squid Game, but my kids are always like, "I've played these games before." It's a Squid Game quote. Um, I and also because it's not easy. And I was thinking about this as well because we've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza recently, which is not a terribly difficult game. That's not a negative. It's more about digging and fun and big open levels and lots to collect. Not that it's easy, but it's certainly not super hard. Mario Galaxy 2, at least, which I'd forgotten completely, I was, I was enjoying the level of difficulty there. Like, there's this boss that is like this giant kind of dragon snake type of thing. And even though I think I've done the first world so far, which is maybe 10 or 8 levels or something, and I've already done maybe 4 boss fights. So there's a lot of boss fights in this game, which is great. And they're all very creative, especially with the whole planet concept. So there's that. I don't know how well you remember Super Mario Galaxy 2, but there's that kind of it's a circular planet, not an actual sphere, but a circle. So it's only got sides you can run around, not 3D kind of deal. And there's a drill monster on one side, and he kind of walks around like a little crab, and he drills, and you have to drill through the other side to get to him. That's super creative. The dragon that I just mentioned, he was really hard. Like I lost a few lives on him, so this is a challenge, and I like that. I like having that challenge. So the assist mode really, really helps there. It basically gives you 3 extra, I guess, hit points. You know how there's kind of you have 3 hit points in the top right corner, and sometimes even without the assist mode, you can get, I guess, bonus hit points so that you've got 6. This is kind of a permanent thing for the assist mode. You just have 6 by default. So that's really nice, and it kind of refills automatically as well, except not during boss fights, as I discovered. Also, if you fall off the edge, which happens a lot in Mario Galaxy because it is a space-based game and there's edges and very fun platforming, so it's possible to fall off the edges quite frequently, and you can kind of get lifted up in the assist mode. So it just makes it a bit faster as well. So instead of having to go back to the beginning, you can just keep going where you're going. So I think for games, I felt I started off without the assist mode, thinking, I want to play this properly, but then I realized I've played this before, and I've had fun with it. I kind of just want to enjoy it again, enjoy the visuals, and so assist mode it was. And I think that I'm going to say that I'm happy with my decision.
All right, that's fair. So the assist mode is like it's from within the system. It's computer or AI. It's not you have a buddy sitting next to you assisting.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
It's kind of just enhances your abilities, and you can switch it on and off during the game. So you don't have to stick with it if you want to turn it on and off. If you feel like you want the challenge of 3 hit points as opposed to 6, or the falling off the edge thing as well, you can just turn it on and off. So like I said, I started with it off, and then I sort of decided, I think I'm just going to turn it on because falling off the edges. I wasn't like running out of lives or anything. It's not that hard, but I just was annoyed at myself for falling off the edge a couple of times. I'm just going to turn it on so that I don't fall off anymore. It's just going to make things a bit faster. So, yeah, I think that's really neat. But the biggest bump up is the biggest kind of reason to get this, I suppose, if you're a fan, is Mario Galaxy 2 because it hasn't been available for quite some time, as opposed to Mario Galaxy 1, which, as I said, is on the Switch as part of the 3D All Stars collection. So yeah, it seems like on the interwebs, people are taking photos of their physical version that they've got in the mail, they picked up from their local shop, and everyone's really excited to play it, which I just love that. And I think when we first heard about it, we were like, I mean, this is great. We love this series, but would it be better if it was Mario Galaxy 3 or a new Mario game? Of course. I guess that's the only thing I'm disappointed in is that Mario's first entry on the Switch 2 is not a new entry. So
Yeah.
there's that. Yeah. But there'll be new Mario for sure, and we'll get to that when it ever is announced and released. But yeah, it's a really good package. It looks amazing and beautiful, and you can kind of go in knowing that these are truly classic games, full of really fun type platforming, really fun boss fights, really creative worlds. Yeah. So it's a great collection. Any comments or questions from you about Mario Galaxy?
Did we determine that you can buy these individually for
Yeah.
$40 each, right? Or
Mhm.
you can get the bundle for 70. So not a huge savings, but it's all right.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I guess I don't know, the price seems a little high to me, but not enough that if I really wanted the games, it would turn me away from it.
Mhm.
Um, like and I think we mentioned before they used to release games like this. Like you could get GameCube remasters of games on the Wii, and they would be priced usually around like $20. I think they did that with
Mhm.
like Pikmin and such.
They did. Yeah.
Think if those were the prices. I could be wrong, but that's generally what I like to see more when they're doing something like
Mhm.
this. For physical, it's different. You pay to get the package and have the nice box that you could put on your shelf with the rest of your collection. So I
That's
get
true.
charging a little more for that. But I will also say that you know, it is unfortunate that, like you said, the first, like 3D Mario game on the Switch 2 is a remake, but
Mhm.
I am never opposed to purchasing a game because it looks better. Um,
Mhm.
which I guess, it doesn't sound like it's a lot, but also consider tangentially. Um, Within the past week, I have purchased the Corpse Bride movie on 4K
Oh, cool.
just because I wanted to look better when I watch it. And
Yeah.
I did it with the original Tron. I already have both these movies on Blu ray,
Mhm.
but I want them to I want the 4K versions because when I'm looking at it, I just want it to look as good as it possibly can, and so
Mhm.
that's why I think I'm not opposed when they do this with games. That games, of course, take a lot more time
Mm.
and investment, but like you said, you can now turn on the assist mode, and it'll take less time than it would have otherwise.
Yeah.
So it just looks good while you're revisiting it, and I'm all for it.
That's a really good point. I love that you brought that up because, yeah, we do that with movies all the time, don't we? Collectors,
Hmm.
movie fans. We, yeah, upgrade them. We had VHS, we had DVD, we had Blu-ray, now we have 4K. So, yeah, totally get that, and there would be heaps of people who would be in the same boat where they would happily pay whatever a 4K movie costs, to get the latest version of their favorite movies, and so, yeah, the games are the same. I think that's a really good comparison. So, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I don't see a problem with that either, honestly. And because I haven't played, like I said, Mario Galaxy 2, I was trying to find my Wii copies, and I couldn't. I've got all my Wii U games stacked neatly there. Only a couple of Wii games. I don't know where my Wii games are. I just don't know where they're stored. They're somewhere in this house. Don't know where they are. So I was trying to see. I don't even know if I still have Mario Galaxy 2 on the Wii. I definitely have Mario Galaxy 1 somewhere, but I don't know what happened to Mario Galaxy 2. So, which is the other reason why I jumped into that one straight away. I just felt like that would be newer for me, like, just felt more special.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mario Galaxy 1, because I've played that a few times, like, over the years, and it's wonderful and great, and I will play it as well, of course, but, just felt more familiar, so I thought, "Yeah, I'll try the one that feels fresher to me." Yeah. So, yeah,
So I
thank you.
think I traded in our physical. We had the game's physical versions, and both were traded in. So I don't have them at the house anymore. But it's
Mm.
hard not to. I mean, the Mario games always get so much money
Yeah, that's
when
true.
you go to trade them in. So
Mhm.
it's too tempting. There are other games that I'm probably never going to play again, but they didn't offer me enough money. So I'm like,
Yeah,
well, then
I know,
I'll
that's
hold
so
on
true.
to it then. And then
Yeah.
suddenly you find people are paying $300 for it on eBay. So I'm like, all right, well, that was a good move.
Yeah.
These weird games that GameStop didn't want, somebody wants it.
Yes, exactly. They'll be rare one day, rare and collectible. Yeah, and people are taking photos online of their Mario collections, which I think are really cool, like, it'll
Mhm.
either be all the Switch Marios, say Mario Odyssey, 3D World, Bowser's Fury, that sort of thing, or it's like they've got Mario Galaxy on the Wii, 3D All-Stars, and this new, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Switch, so they've got, like, the full collection of Mario Galaxy games almost, which I think is really nice. So, yeah, people are really into it, which is great. So that makes sense, and that's kind of explains why Nintendo would do this because I guess they know maybe that the fans wanted it somehow. They knew that fans would dig this. So it will be
Yep.
interesting to see how the sales go, and particularly whether anyone does buy the individual games and which one does better. I think what was I about to say? Oh, it's selling well on the eShop. I know it's in the top. I think it was the top game during the week or the last few days, whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, people are buying it. Let us know, listeners, if you're playing one or both of these games and what you think of them, of course. Another big game of the week is Final Fantasy Tactics Invalice Chronicles, which came out on September the 30th. I don't think either of us have played this version, have we, Kirk?
Not this version. I did tinker with what was this? A 3DS game? DS?
Yeah, one of those.
I think it was just DS. One of my relatives had it, and somehow I ended up with his DS, and the game was in it. So,
Right. Yeah.
like, all right, well, yeah, I'll play it. So I played a bit of it then. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So this one came out, yeah, like I said, September 30th. It's like a revamped version of that original one that Kirk was talking about. I do like that. I mean, it's not a cheap game either, 49.99. But I
Hmm.
do like that it's the same price on Switch 1 and 2, I suppose, which I think we've mentioned a few times that developers are doing that, not making it more expensive on Switch 2.
Yep.
But $50 is a lot for
Yeah,
for this
it
game.
it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that was in the top, I don't think it was 2nd, might have been 3rd or 4th in the sales that I was seeing on the Switch eShop during the week. So people are buying it, I guess. Anything with Final Fantasy in the title, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that that's part of it. And also, I know this game was revered. People really love this game that are into
Mm.
this genre, like I am. I don't have the affinity for it that a lot of other people do, but that's
Mhm.
tends to be the case with Final Fantasy in general,
Mm.
um, which I know sounds counterintuitive considering the type of games I talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel a lot of people were really looking for a reason to dig into this game again. Without having to dust off their DSs.
Mm. Yeah, exactly, and it does look nice from all, the trailers and everything. I mean, I'm interested. If I had time, I would consider picking it up, but although that's $50, how much would that be in Australia? It's probably 70 over here, so which is a lot to invest, which is why I haven't picked it up because for me to invest, I would need the time to invest if I was gonna spend $70 on something. Mario
Yeah,
Galaxy 1 and 2, I would have picked up anyway, like, I was planning to buy that, and then Nintendo Australia reached out with a code, so I'm like, "Cool, thanks." So, I'll review it, of course, and talk about it in the show as we've done, but, that is something I would have invested time and money into regardless. This one would love to give it a try. Like, if there was a demo, I definitely would try it. But, yeah, $70 is a lot if it's 17 in Australia, is a lot to ask for me to not spend a lot of time with, if that makes sense.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and the thing with a game like this too is, unlike say Mario, is
Mhm.
you can play that for a while and then stop and then pick it up a month later and then just go back to it, and you can do that for years with Super Mario Galaxy. Final
Mm.
Fantasy Tactics, I mean, the main component really, what really drives people's interest in it is the story and the characters. And if you don't play it like you read a book, where you start and you're just going to play it every night until you're done,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you kind of kill that momentum. And then you come back in, you're like, wait, what's going on here? How do I do this? Who are these people? So it's a game you really need to like carve out a chunk of time for,
Mm.
start it and finish it. And that, especially with all the games that are coming out these days, all the competition, that's harder and harder to do.
It is. That is such a good point. I had the exact same thought just yesterday. I was thinking about that. Exactly, Kirk, thank you. Because I realized that I can do that with the Mario game. I can do that with Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example. I jumped back into
Hmm.
that recently and picked it up so easily. Kirby is the same. You can just jump straight back into Kirby without any issues. I think Nintendo does that really well, or just the style of games, I suppose. Maybe Zelda is a bit different. Like, maybe you can get a bit lost if you like, I went back into Tears of the Kingdom and had just no idea what I was doing. So, like, that's another example of maybe one you need time to carve out for. But yeah, these types of games, yeah, you're exactly right. It's like, what's the RPG that we love that's like the retro styled one? I can't even think of the name of it now that we all have and like, but I think we were reviewing DLC for it recently, or was supposed to be, but never came through. Anyway, that's okay. That's one I've actually purchased and just and started and really enjoyed, and then uh, haven't had the time to go back. And now I'm like, if I jump back into it, I might have to restart it just because I have no idea that when you talk about these people, and I'll be like, who, what, what's going on? What are the controls again? What's
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess what that's a good thing. Like, let's say compared to say Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I would like to go back in, dig into,
Mm,
but like there's so much going on that it's completely overwhelming when you hop back into a game like that, both with the
mm,
controls and like I said, with the story and even the environments, and just remembering where things are and how to get from here to there. And then you've got the whole combat system, so you've got combat on foot that you need to worry about, and then you've got your mech, your skells, um, combat in those that you need to worry about. So yeah, it's like that kind of game you just have to push all the way through, um,
mm,
or you're going to be lost.
yeah.
And that's happened to me on games in the past.
Yeah.
put
Yes.
them aside to take on a new review, and then I go back in, I'm like, "Oh, man, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't."
It's tough. So Final Fantasy Tactics: The Invalice Chronicles is actually 84.95 in Australia. So that is a
Wow.
lot. Yeah, it's
Wow.
a lot. And there's also a deluxe version, which is over $100. So yeah, not cheap, not cheap. But hopefully people are enjoying it who are into it. Maybe one day when it's on sale,
Is
I'll
that
grab
the Square Enix tax? Is that what I used to see people call it?
it.
Like, they just jack up the price on anything. There's never any kind of logical discount on.
Mm. Yeah, because I know people will pay for it because it's Square
Yeah,
Enix and it's Final Fantasy. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that may be another reason why I don't dig into it.
Yeah.
Square Enix, they're one of those companies that just kind of rubs me the wrong way for some reason. My
Mm.
apologies to the fans. I can't explain it. It's just there.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I think I loved because they were doing Secret of Mana, like the Mana series, right? I don't know
Hmm.
if they still do. Do they still do those?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have an affinity for those. I never really got into Final Fantasy too much. And I think my uh bitterness with them is because they left Nintendo and went to Sony back in the
Yeah, that's true
90s.
too. Yeah.
So I've never really forgiven them for that. Yeah. Anyway, it's a bit petty, but
Oh, I
it is
should
what it is.
point out, just to say something positive, that I really love Final Fantasy X.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Out of all the games that I played quite a few of the early ones on my iPad of all places. They released them all there, and
Mhm.
but yeah, so some of their games are absolutely fantastic.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of fantastic. Like, when people tell me I should go see a movie because it's really good, like, there are a lot of good movies. I can't see a movie just because it's good. That should never be your argument for trying to convince me to see something.
Yeah, okay. I will be careful how I word my
Yeah.
recommendations to you. Yes.
Tell me it has sword fighting skeletons. You'll win me with
Mm.
that.
Yes, exactly. Definitely. Yep. We know how to get to your heart there.
Yes, that's it.
The other game we wanted to mention that's out this week is called Lego Party, which just came out on September the 30th. This one is a little cheaper. It's $35.99. It's actually 10% off at the moment for the next, I think it's the next week or two. Looking at the date there, 14th of the 10th, yes. So 14th of October. So it's normally $39.95. Sorry, $39.99. It's currently $35.99. Now, this is getting pretty decent reviews as well. And it's a party game with Lego based, characters. So it's a family friendly, 4-player kind of game. I think it has crossplay as well. So if you it's on different platforms, but you can play with people online on those different platforms, which is pretty
Hmm.
neat. Yeah, I don't know much more about it than that, except I am interested and I'm considering getting this and playing with my kids because we love Lego games. Looks pretty fun. Yeah, apparently there's 60 different wildly fun mini games as it's described on the eShop listing.
I'd like to do a count and see how many of them are actually wildly fun.
Yeah, yes. Maybe
That's a lot.
there's actually 120, but only 60 of them are
Oh,
wildly fun. So,
what great honesty.
yes. Yeah, so that's out. I'd love to know if anyone listening has played that and can recommend. Let us know. If I do pick it up, I will definitely talk about it, in the coming weeks as to whether it is good. But yeah, like I said, the reviews are looking pretty positive. Did
Yeah.
you know much about that one at all, Kirk?
No, I just saw the press release and watched the trailer. I did think that the energy level of the trailer was pretty manic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's like the Mario Party games on uh, Ritalin, maybe. Wait, is
Right.
Ritalin? No, that Ritalin's the one that brings you down. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's the
Whatever.
anti. Yeah.
Okay, on sugar. All right,
Yeah.
we'll
Okay.
just go with
Let's
that.
go with that.
Family friendly. It's Mario Party on sugar.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I like the level of the Mario Party games. Like, they're still fun, and kind of bouncy, but they're
Hmm.
not like insane, like, noise and action all the time.
Hmm.
So that's the way the trailer was for this. So I'd like to see if it tones down a bit. And if
Mm.
not, I'm sure it could still work. So yeah, it just looks like it has a completely different level than the other party games I played.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am curious to see. I would like to see it in action or play a couple rounds.
Yeah. 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 Well, hopefully, if I get around to that, I will report back and let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Anything
I say
else?
it looks like it doesn't have any of like the franchise tie-ins that Lego has. Like I didn't see any Batman or Jurassic
Yeah.
Park or anything in the trailer.
Mhm. Maybe that's why it's only 35.99. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it
I'm not
could
sure.
be.
Yeah.
Ninjago. They did mention Ninjago, but of course, that's they own that.
Yeah, I assume so. That's like a Lego thing, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
as opposed to, yeah, DC or Marvel or whatever. Yeah. Makes sense. Cool. And, like, yeah, we've definitely enjoyed Ninjago, like, the movie, and the kids had some Ninjago, like, sets over the years, so that'd be a nice little tie-in, I think, for us. Yeah. See how we go. I definitely would like to try it. I just don't know. School's back this week here, so I'm not sure how much time we'll get for that, but we'll
Mhm.
see, we'll see. So those are the 3 big games of this week. Listeners, let us know which ones you're playing or any others, of course. I wanted to just do a quick line about PAX Australia because that is coming up this week. It starts on Friday, this Friday coming. I will be in attendance and I'll be talking about it on the next week's show. I guess I just wanted to do a call out to listeners. What would you like to hear me talk about? Is there a game in particular that you would like to know more about, like Metroid Prime 4, for example, anything at the show that you're interested in, let me know, and I will talk about it next week. Because, yeah, there's going to be heaps of cool stuff. All of the upcoming Nintendo games will be playable: Pokemon, Metroid, Hyrule Warriors, heaps of indie devs as well, of course. Yeah, if there's anything that you're most keen to hear about, let me know, and I will do my best to cover it. Any questions for me about PAX, Kirk?
No, but I'm sure I will have many upon your return.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Should be a good time. Looking forward to it. New as sorry, I mentioned Pokemon Legends ZA, which is coming out on October 16th. That will be playable at PAX as well. There is a new trailer to help promote the upcoming game. This is the next big game from Nintendo, of course. The trailer is pretty in depth. It's 6 minutes long. I know it's probably not up your alley, Kirk. super, super keen for that one.
No.
No.
Does it have sword fighting skeletons?
No, I
Oh.
don't think so. No, I didn't see any, didn't catch any in the trailer. I don't even think it has swords, let alone skeletons. There's probably a skeleton-based Pokemon, surely. There'd have to be, right? Somewhere
Uh,
along the way.
would they do that? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. If there's not, there should be. Yeah, but yeah, the trailer looks really good. I think it sort of goes into depth about some of the battle techniques, mechanics, some of the characters you'll meet, of course. There's this hotel element where you meet a group of people and there's mysteries to solve. You can, of course, take photos and upgrade your, you know, style, costumes, etc. But it seems to be very much focused around the battles. Obviously, the name ZA is about going from the rank Z to rank A. So doing more battles will level you up. I'm interested to know how that works in terms of how many battles is it like leveling up in an RPG where you get experience points. And so getting from Z to Y is pretty easy. You know, you might only need like 100 or whatever experience points. And then is it harder as you go up, I assume, right? Like it's when you level up in RPGs, it's the higher the level, the harder it is to get, right?
Yeah, it usually takes longer. The little meter showing you how far you have to get till the next level slows down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm assuming that's the case with this as well. So getting to A is not going to be an easy feat. It's not like you just have to do 26 kind of battles and suddenly you're level A. And I also don't know if you go backwards, if you lose battles, do you lose points and do you lose ranking? I kind of hope not. That sounds annoying, but possibly, right? Like if it's a ranking system and there's like 100 people, there's not 100 people, but if there were, is it like a certain number of people in a group and you're all ranked, but I guess everyone could be A in this situation. It's not like you're all just ranked from Z to A. You could all be A if you all win enough battles. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about this. Yeah.
Well, you'll
And
find out at PAX.
I will. Yes, I will indeed. Looking forward to that one. I think the other thing is they do mention that it's Switch 1 and 2. There are both versions available, which is neat. We are pretty keen to see how that performs on the Switch 1, I suppose, in particular, just based on the previous Pokemon entry that had a few performance issues. But I think, and Trev would know this better because I didn't play Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was the one before Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I don't think that had the same problem. I don't think that suffered from any kind of frame rate issues, not that I heard of anyway. So Pokemon Violet and Scarlet seems more open worldy to me and a bit bigger, and maybe it just wasn't optimized properly. So, hopefully, all things considered, this one will perform well on both Switch 1 and 2. But yeah, it's the usual cartoony look. And I think I like that, even though it's a Switch 2 game, or there is a Switch 2 version, it's not like it looks different to a Pokemon game. Some people might think, well, it doesn't look that good. And no one has played it yet, or at least we haven't played it yet to talk to that. But I wouldn't want it's like when you see, say, SpongeBob in 3D. I just want to see classic SpongeBob cartoons. Do you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, am I with you on that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, there's a new movie coming out actually, Kirk, speaking of SpongeBob. I saw a trailer.
Yeah.
And it's the 3D version again. I'm like, I just want the animated one. Can you not just do the 2D style?
I'm assuming it's cheaper to do the 3D animation at this
Ah,
point,
yeah,
or
could
maybe
be.
faster. But
Mm.
yeah, I agree with you. I don't care. That's I
Yeah, so you get it, you get it. And
it's
so I would like them to stick with Pokemon style. I don't need it to be any fancier. I don't need it to be any different. I think it's like Studio Ghibli, their last movie. Oh, not their last movie actually, because that was back to the style that they're known for. But the one before that, was it the Witch, Earwig and the Witch, or whatever it's called, was like 3D, and it's just like, no, Studio Ghibli, that's not your style. Don't do that. It looks weird. So yeah, I don't like that. Anyway, moving on. Let's go to our still unnamed announcement of the week feature from Kirk. What have you got for us this week?
I've got something since it's October and we're heading towards Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
which we'll be talking about more here in a bit with some other games that we can recommend or look forward to. But for my announcement, I got a press release for a game called The Cabin Factory is coming to consoles, including Nintendo Switch. The press release keeps talking about the viral horror game and how this was wildly popular on TikTok and Twitter and things, garnering millions of views. I don't what that has to do with anything. Like people watching it on those. I mean, you're not playing it. Let's talk about sales, but that's beside the point because the premise for this, um, you have a job. You're working in a factory where I guess they make cabins. Um,
Right?
which sounds like it's going to be like a sim or something like that. But it's not. Apparently, the company got in trouble because a couple of their cabins were haunted. So you've been hired in the factory to go into the cabin and determine whether it's haunted.
Oh my gosh.
And if it's not, down the line it goes. So I guess they're prefabricated cabins, but that's
Mm.
what easier, I guess, than building them out in the woods. Um, if it is haunted, you have to run back and hit the button saying it's haunted.
Right.
Like that's the whole game. So it's kind of like a walking sim in a bit, but you're kind of walking through these creepy cabins. You would think being in a factory where this is your job to do it, they would just light them properly, but maybe it's harder to detect the ghosts. So you're walking through them, and if you get the jump scare or notice something going on that shouldn't be there, then you have to run out and indicate that there is danger. And that's it. And I think it's an absolutely wonderful premise. I think it's a job I might actually like to have in real life.
Yeah.
We'd see how long I'd be able to stand it, but I would, at least accept it and show up my first day. And it's only $2.99.
Yeah.
So,
Cheap.
if you're just looking for a quick scare, something to play with your friends, over Halloween, this is it. You probably get it done in one night or a couple
Mm.
nights. But yeah, $2.99. It comes out October 16th. I think is that what I put down.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, something to look for. The Cabin Factory for Nintendo Switch.
Wow. That sounds incredibly creepy, honestly.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I love the premise. That's crazy.
yeah,
And yeah, it's just why do the screenshots of the cabins, they all look so dark? You'd think in a factory you might just light them up a bit more, but they look like
Yeah, that's and why hire one guy? We're gonna take one dude and we're gonna put him in the factory with terrible lighting, and it's up to him to find out
yeah,
if they're on it. But, maybe like I said, if it was bright and you had a bunch of guys, you could overlook things. You're going to be very
true.
aware and attentive if you're forced,
Mhm.
to be terrified as you do your
Yeah.
job.
I kinda love the idea that you're walking into I don't know how many cabins you have to inspect in this game, but you're walking into, X number of cabins, and each time you enter one, you don't know if it's gonna be scary or not, and so
Yeah.
you're gonna be on edge every single time, and it might be just like, that adrenaline that builds up as you're prepared for something scary, and
Yes.
then it still scares you, or there's nothing, you're like, "Oh, okay." And then you move on to the next one, and you're feeling a bit safer, but of course,
Yeah.
then it might be scary, so
Yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
then that makes it worse, like when you're in the haunted houses, over Halloween, and
Mm.
you're walking down a hallway, and you can kinda, like, see red lights down at the end of the hall, like, "Okay, that's, like, some kinda trip thing where I'm going to go up there," and then you go and it doesn't happen.
Mhm.
So, now you're even more on edge because well, if something didn't happen back there's gotta be something big up here. So, yeah, it just builds and builds. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think this could be a lot of fun if it's done well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for bringing that.
And it's cabins. I
Yeah.
mean, Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, so many great horror
Mhm.
movies, took place in cabins in the woods. Cabin in the Woods, for
Cabin in
crying
the
out loud.
Woods, exactly. Why is that? Why cabins? Why are we so scared of them? The
Well,
isolation,
you know,
maybe? I don't know.
dark, creepy, isolation,
Yeah.
and I just assume they take place in cabins because it's easy on the budget for the film.
Yeah. That is a good
We're
point.
out in the woods, there's no one else interfering, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's likely. Mhm. Very cool. Thank you, Kirk. The Cabin Factory. Yes, 16th of October, 2.99. Definitely a good price. You can even if it's not great, if you get a few scares, it's $3, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Cool. All right. Well, yes, as you mentioned, Halloween is this month. It is October. It's a scary month, I guess, if you want to call it that. So we will talk about some scary games over the next few weeks that we could recommend or that we're looking forward to. This week, I'm going to talk about Garden of Banban Zero, which is a game I reviewed actually not all that long ago, last month, but it is a game that came out a couple months ago for the Nintendo Switch. And it's a series. I wasn't familiar with this series, but it's a series of games called Garten of Banban. Garten is Garten, not Garten, which might be maybe German. I don't really know, sorry. But this is a prequel. So Garten of Banban Zero, it's a prequel, but I think it was the seventh maybe game in the series. But it serves as the story to tell well, it tells the story of how these characters came to be in the rest of the series. Now, I have not played any other game in the series, so I was a little bit lost in that respect. But it is a creepy game. It seems cartoony, like these little characters look like they're made of plasticine, like Gumby or something. I don't know. They look like. Do you remember Gumby?
Oh, sure, I
Yeah.
remember Gumby.
Yeah, they look like little Gumby type people, like plasticine people. And they're trapped in this facility. They don't know how they got there. You play as one of them. It's a first person perspective, so you don't really see yourself. You don't really know what you look like. I think, which makes it a bit creepy as well, because you're like, what is wrong with me? Because they keep talking about, oh, the new guy kind of thing. And so everyone is a little messed up. They're all odd characters. They're trapped in this facility for some reason. I think they've kind of been experimented on. They're all a bit odd. They're all a bit weird. Some of them are just shaped like rocks. Some of them are shaped like Gumby people. And you kind of just go around meeting them all. And then there's kind of some hidden puzzle type games. There's like a hide and seek game, which is super scary because you just don't know what's in the dark around the corner. And then there's a giant monster. And, I don't want to get too far into the plot, I guess, but it's just a generally creepy vibe. Like there's not a lot of music. It's just this dark, weird room that's like a playroom. There's all sorts of odd things happening at night. It's just a really really strange experience. It's not a long game. It's not an expensive game either. I think it's quite cheap. I don't think it's 2.99, but it might be 3.99. I don't know.
4.99.
4.99. There you go. Yeah, I remember it wasn't an expensive game. So if you are looking for something a little bit different, like like Cabin whatever that one was called. I've already forgot the name of. Sorry, I was going to say Cabin Fever. Was that another movie? Cabin Factory. I like another
Cabin
cheap.
Factory, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another cheap kind of horror-esque game. Yeah, Gartner Band Zero is not too bad. I did review it, so you can check it out on the Pure Nintendo website if you want to read my full thoughts. It's intriguing enough that I'm curious about the rest of the series. My son knew about it as well. Like he watched me, and it's not for kids. It looks like it's for kids because of that plasticine look, because of that playground kind of
Yeah.
setting. Yeah, it's not. It's not for kids. It's quite. This one I think is maybe not as violent as some of the others in the series, but it's definitely creepy. So yeah, not for the faint of heart and not for the young kiddies. But my son, yeah, he seemed to know the characters from YouTube, so kids might be aware of this. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that person later on does this or something." I'm like, "Oh okay." There's this one scene where you have to rescue someone who's like chained down and there's gas everywhere, and that's a bit of a puzzle. There's a few puzzle elements, so you have to kind of move this electricity through the wires around the room to unlock this person. Yeah, so stuff like that. It's not too bad. Worth checking out if you're interested.
Yeah.
That's kind of my scary game of the week. What's your scary game that you'd like to talk about?
Well, this one's a tricky one because it's a bundle. There's I don't have the name of the company in front of me right now. A company's releasing the Feardemic Horror Bundle
Hmm.
physically on October 31st, so it doesn't come out until Halloween itself. But
Oh.
the games that are included in it are all available right now, digitally to
Mhm.
download. So it's more, for collectors. The games are Burnhouse Lane, No Son of Mine, and Dagon Complete Edition. Of these three, we've only reviewed one before. Trevor, so too bad he's not here today.
Mm.
Reviewed Dagon Complete Edition. He gave it a 6.5 out of 10, and it's kind of an HP Lovecraft.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say inspired because it's actually his world.
Mhm.
It takes place within the various works of H.P. Lovecraft. So it's very literal. It's got a very creepy kind of like I haven't played it, so I don't want to go into too much detail for fear I get something wrong. But just looking through the visuals of it, kind of a literary ghost story, kind of gothic look to it. Good for like a quiet traditional horror tale, I think.
Mhm.
Um, the other games are No Son of Mine, which I haven't played. This one is very much more a kind of like Cabin Factory sort of thing, where you're walking around environments with flashlights that don't really do their job. Um, with things that are jumping out and scaring you. So that's more of the visceral kind of horror. Let's see what that one was rated. Yeah, it's rated M for blood and gore, intense violence, and partial nudity.
Right.
So a more modern approach to horror, I believe. And then the other game, Burnhouse Lane, also rated mature for blood and gore, drug reference, intense violence, partial nudity, sexual themes, strong language, and use of tobacco. So these are very much adult oriented games, but this one's
Yeah.
kind of like more a sort of like a 2D scroller kind of game. You're not in a 3D environment looking around. You're moving across the screen, side to side,
Mm.
discovering things. Picking up story elements. It's features like say the features say 5D chess, solve classic adventure style and inventory puzzles. Mind your tongue, experience branching dialogues and make decisions that shape how the story plays out. So it's kind of a whole story behind it, and building up to something that hopefully we'll find out. I would like to get my hands on a copy of this, so I can circle back. I think of the three, Burnhouse Lane is the one that looks like it might appeal to me the most. The
Mm.
visuals are quite striking.
Yeah.
With the with the way things are set up here. So yeah, it's three different styled horror games in one bundle, and if you haven't played all three of them, but you have others. You don't need to get the physical. You could just pick up the other two. But also, like I said, for collectors, looks like a pretty nice package of games to bust out every Halloween.
Yeah, it does actually. And you're right, that Burnhouse Lane does look quite neat. I like that all three of them are different, really,
Yeah.
in their style. So you're getting three very different games in a pack, which, yeah, seems pretty neat. Cool. So, and I love that it's coming out on October the 31st as well. Perfect timing. Yeah. And
Yep.
so Burnhouse Lane looks like it originally came out in 2023. I didn't check Son of Mine, which looks, that one looks the most
Uh,
horror film. That was also 2023, actually, September 2023. Yeah, like
mm,
the dude, if he's a dude in No Son of Mine, the red kind of character with no hair and no eyes,
yeah.
looks pretty demonic. Yeah.
Yeah. Like creepy goblin baby kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing.
Yes. Excellent. There's some good fear-inducing games that could appeal for the Halloween season.
Yep.
Thank you, Kirk. Let us.
Something for everybody.
Yes.
The whole
Yeah.
family gets a scare.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Let us
Oh, and
know.
I should point out, Dagon, sorry,
Yeah.
that one is rated teen. So yeah,
Okay.
you if you get the package and you have younger kids who aren't ready for the more mature horror, then they can be entertained by this.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, I do remember Trev talking about that one actually. That
Mhm.
Lovecraftian one. Exactly. Let us know, listeners, your thoughts on Halloween games. We will cover more games over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for more horror-filled fun. Let's move on to the games we're playing at the moment, which I've only got one. Well, I've got two, but one is Mario Galaxy. So I've kind of already talked about that one and loving it. But the other game that I'm playing, and I've just written up my review, which should be posted before this episode launches, is Splatterbot, which is a multiplayer game, a local multiplayer game featuring robot cleaners, I guess. But instead of cleaning, they are painting, or as the game says, they're making a mess. And so you control a little bot each and zoom around various levels or arenas, I guess, the kind of standalone levels. It's a competitive game. Basically, it's like Splatoon with a top-down view and robots. So you're trying to color in the most area in the time limit. Did you have a question?
Aren't there like Mario Party mini games that
There
are like
are,
this? Yeah,
yes.
okay.
There's also, it's more akin to that probably, given that it's a top-down view. Yes. So yeah, it's like that. And there are four of you. You can play with AI as well if you wanted to have four players, but four players on the screen, but you've only got like two people in your lounge room. You could have two people, real people and two computer control characters. And the computer control characters, from my experience, are not very good, not very smart. So pretty easy to beat. There's not really a difficulty setting there. But the game itself is quite fun. It's very simple, but it's a cheap game. It's from a one person dev team in Australia, actually. I believe they're from Newcastle in New South Wales. And this is the first game that this team of one has put out. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty well done. It's a simple experience, but it's a fun experience. So you can do teams if you wanted to. So I had played with my son competitively, and then we played as on the same team, for example. There are 6 different kind of levels to go through, and they're pretty creative. One is an office, which is really fun. It's like different rooms. There's like chairs to knock over, and you can smash through windows and things like that. Other level has boats that you can hop between, and so that makes it a bit more challenging to color in your boats. And then, of course, when you get off your boat, someone else can come and color it in on top of your colors. You can choose your colors. There's 4 pretty bright colors to choose from. You can unlock costumes as well for your little robo dudes, which is cute. You can change. There's also power ups you can get during the levels, which you can toggle on and off, which is nice because some of them are a bit overpowered. So the first time we played, my son just somehow got all of the power ups, and so he was huge. Like you grow in size and you gain speed, and so he was zipping along as this giant thing, coloring in everything with his color, and I could not compete with that. So once you're fast, of course, then you can get to the power ups more quickly. So you can toggle them on and off, which makes it a bit fairer. There's a time limit which you can change. There's 3 time settings there. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot to it, but it's simple. It is a very simple game, but it's a fun time while it lasts. So it'd be fun for, like, a few rounds at the start of a game night, maybe, for example. Um, what else can I say about Splatterbot? It's colorful, it's cute. There's some really good accessibility features like colorblind mode. The controls are super easy, so I think this would be fine for any age level, really. You just move your person around. They color it in automatically. Sorry, person, robot, whatever. You just move them around and it colors it in. So, yeah.
How long does each round last?
You can
Can you
choose.
control it? Are there variations?
Yeah, there's 3 timers, 3 settings for
Okay.
timers, so you can do 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, basically. Yeah, so it's in seconds, so 60 seconds, 120, or 180
Yeah.
seconds. So you can make it longer or shorter. Um, yeah. Yeah, my son and I had a good time playing it. Yeah. So that's my current review game. Should be up on the site, as I said, before this episode launches. So check that one out, Splatterbot. Support the devs if you're interested in a little party game there. I'm interested to hear about your game because I know you've talked about this before. I think it might have been one of your unnamed announcements. Was Puzzle
Yes.
Quest Immortal Edition. How's it
Yeah.
going?
Well, it's going well because I knew it would. I mean, I played the puzzle. This basically is a new edition of the Puzzle Quest game that was already available for the Switch,
Mhm.
um, with some enhancements that I will just say right up front. If you already have the previous version, don't upgrade. I don't think there's anything here that really is going to change anything.
Mm, mhm.
But if you don't, it's only $15, so it's a
Mhm.
well priced game. Um, Puzzle Quest it's a match 3 game, or 4 or 5, depending on how the board falls. With a lot of RPG elements, you can purchase new weapons that will help you do certain things. You can start as a different class, which give you different bonus abilities. Whether you want a guy with really good defense, so people can't wipe you out as quickly, or you're able to control mana in different ways or different colors. And but at the core of it, it's still just a match 3. So what you do is you get a board, you've got an enemy, and you have health, and you have different abilities that are controlled by different colors of mana: blue, green, red, yellow. So if you match those, you could power that up, and you're going to need to power those up in order to use your better attack or defense abilities. Um, but what you want to do, of course, is wear down the opponent's health to 0, and you do that by matching skulls. So there's a lot of strategy going into it. Like, you may see that you could match 3 skulls and you're going to do some damage, but you don't want to do that right away because it may be better. There could be a match 4. If you match 4, match 5, you get to go again. But if you do that, you could make it so those skulls are no longer aligned properly for you to be able to attack.
Mm, mhm.
There are some enemies I go up against. Like, there's one where the guy, I think he's an ogre, only has one attack, and it's a red attack, and it does 10 damage against you, but he has to really level up the red in order to be able to do it. So you immediately have to go in defense mode. There may be skulls there, but it's probably going to be better for you to take that red power away from him so he can't level up, and use that bigger attack. Let him have the small attack now, knowing that he's not going to be able to move up for that.
Mm.
uh, there's a story, and there are characters that you unlock, and as you unlock characters, they give you different abilities. So there's an early fella you get, I think he's an archer, um, who will do 10 damage straight away to any undead enemies. So if you're going up against a skeleton, right away the skeleton has 10 health points removed, and then that's it. The guy doesn't end up doing anything else.
Is he wielding a sword, the skeleton?
Uh, what was he? Maybe you would think, knowing what you know about me, that I would have paid attention to that, right? I
Yes.
think I was just so happy I was fighting a skeleton that I didn't care what he had.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, But so yeah, there's a lot of elements like that. You can redo certain battles to kind of level up if you need to. But one of the things I noticed is that if you get a quest and you go, like, say you're level 14 and the quest is level 17, so like I'm going to level up. You go back when you're 17, and now that quest is magically level 19.
Hmm,
So you can improve your abilities, and you want to, because there's also a whole castle that you can build out to acquire different things like horses and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that you're going to be overpowered really at any point in this game. Um, so
cool.
it's, I think Trevor was asking if it's a good game for who was he saying?
Was
I
it
think his
his mum,
mom.
I think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was his mom. Um, so I mean, the match three is fun, although I will add a caveat to that in a minute. But there really is a lot of strategy that goes into it too. You can't just pick it up and start matching colors and think you're going to win. You're going to need to really think about this and pay attention to it. Oh, there's like even coins on it, so you're going to need to buy armor and weapons. You get that aside from fulfilling quests by matching the coins on the board. So
Mm,
sometimes it's better to do that.
cool.
Um, my problem with the game, and it was my problem with the game before, and it's still here, is it seems to me that there are times where the AI, your enemy, knows what's off the board. Because I swear there are so many times where I'm thinking I can't do that because if I do that, something bad's going to happen.
Mhm.
They will then do that move and they will just get like combos and combos of attacks and take you down 30 to 40. That never happens to me.
Mm,
Like where I do something and everything off the board was right. So that when it slides on, because of course, as you match them, the gems that you're matching are the coins or the skulls, they clear out, more falls down. It's absolutely infuriating when you are in control, you think you're going to win, and then they just get the most random luck because the computer gets the most random luck all the time and will just wipe things out, and it's rage inducing.
that's annoying. Yeah.
Every now and again they'll throw me a bone and something nice will happen like that. Like say, see, we're not cheating. I know you just got one too. Quit your crying.
Mm.
Um, So yeah, prepare yourself for that because they're like there. I went up against one enemy. I think I had to fight him 7 times
Wow.
before I even came close to winning.
Yeah.
And then when I did, it like was the easiest battle I had ever done. Like the game took pity on me at one point and said, "We got to let this guy go on because he's not moving on to fight anything else in the meantime."
Mm,
So there's that. Maybe that's the way it is with all match three games. I don't play a lot of them, but I do like Puzzle Quest. I do like this version of it. It looks great. It plays well. It's just if you have the previous version already on Switch, don't bother. Stick with that. You're fine.
yeah, makes sense. Is this still a Switch game, not Switch 2?
Yes, it is still Switch. There is no special Switch 2 edition, just the typical compatible stuff.
Yeah, okay.
But this version is a little bit better. Like they say that certain elements are 60 frames per second.
Oh.
I don't know what, like there's nothing in here that needs to be. Um, but
Mm.
it does look really good. I had removed the previous version a long time ago. I'm not like Trev, so I don't
Yeah,
keep games
yeah,
on my system
yeah.
when I'm not going to be playing them too much anymore. But now this one will take its place, and it will sit there for quite a while until I realize that I'm done. Or because I'm going to review it without finishing it. I'll say that up front. It's a match three game. You don't need to play through to the
Mm.
end to get a feel for what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, makes
But
sense.
yeah, it's fun. So it'll get a good review.
Cool, okay. So it'd be better than the original in terms of review? Okay.
I'm going to have to go back and read the original once I'm into this more and start formulating my opinions to see
Mhm.
what matches up and see if anything was corrected from that.
Nice.
But I get the feeling it's probably going to get the exact same rating.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, well, those same little bugbears are still present. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you. And you have another game to talk about as well.
Oh yes, let's talk about. I think it's Hyke Northern Lights.
Cool. What is that?
This game it's kind of an action game. It's a top-down 2D RPG. Um, it takes place in a world where humans and witches went to war. The witches lost. We start out with like one of the main witches and her final battle. That ends, and then we jump into the future, and her daughter, after her father has just died, so now she's decided she's going to seek out to find out what really happened to her mom. She has some witch powers and is basically exploring this kind of apocalyptic world after this war. Not everything has been rebuilt and ready to go. Um, so she it's kind of like all dungeon crawling, except I hesitate to say dungeon because it's above ground, like you're exploring
Mm.
amusement parks, for example, kind of an amusement park with a Ferris wheel at the center of it. You're entering into combat. It's all action oriented. The enemies will like charge at you. You can dodge out of the way and then attack them with your weak physical attack. You also get a couple magical attacks that are more powerful, but they have cooldown periods and sometimes they're a little difficult to aim. So a lot of enemies coming at you that you're fighting with simple controls. It doesn't mean the combat is necessarily simple, but it's simple to move around and do what you got to do. Finding treasures. The unique twist is that at the end of each one of these levels is kind of another witch who's there to protect it. That's the boss. You beat the boss, and then the witch kind of joins you, or I shouldn't say kind of does. Then you're able to control that character.
Mm.
Um, what I like about it is all of them are really unique. You get used to fighting with one, and then another one comes along with just like completely different abilities. Um,
Cool.
and you want to learn those. You could technically stick with just one or two that you really like, but every now and again you're going to get an enemy where you're like, this person would really be much better at fighting this enemy. So I got to kind of master these controls and do it. Um, it's all kind of pixel graphics, detailed though. It looks good. And there are between all of this, it's a little roguelike. It's not defined that way, but you're going to push in a ways, and then it kind of takes you back to a camp, and then you're going to be able to push in further and take
Mm.
you back to the
Mhm.
camp. The camp is considered I'm putting up my quote fingers now, cozy um,
Right.
environment. It's really feels kind of tacked on. You
Mhm.
can decorate a little bit, and you do cook while you're there. You could get recipes and you could cook and you enhance your powers. So if you're having trouble somewhere, you're like, okay, I need more defense against this guy or whatever. You can go back, cook to enhance that, and then go do the fight again. Um, there's music you can play. You could just sit there and watch the characters kind of move about. Um,
Right.
but aside from the actual cooking, none of it is really needed.
Mhm.
So, they're really promoting that portion of it as a cozy RPG experience, but it's more like an unnecessary RPG experience,
Yeah.
except for the cooking buffs. If you want to relax and just, take some time off from the combat, I guess that's a way to do it.
Hmm.
Um, but and you can like switch which music is playing, stuff like that. I don't feel that it really adds anything, but the rest of it is interesting enough that it still ends up being a pretty good game if you're into like those old style combat RPGs.
Cool. Yeah, it does look neat from the
Yeah.
graphics.
The character artwork is gorgeous too. Aside from the environments, which are sort of nice.
Mm.
But the actual characters that they show when they're talking is really well done. The environments that you can't really tell from looking at the screen captures in the eShop, but they're fairly redundant in that they use a lot of the same assets. Like when I first started exploring the first world, there were like crashed airplanes. Now I'm into like World War II airplanes, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
But it was the same plane over and over again. I'm like, how
Oh.
many airplanes crashed at this particular location? Why are they all here and looking exactly the same? So that does get a little bit redundant. But the dungeons are fairly fun to explore. You can occasionally see treasures and not know how to get to it, so you got to find secret paths. There's some backtracking, but after you've killed out a group of enemies, they don't come back, so it's not hard to backtrack to find something that you wanted to get to.
Oh, nice.
Um, so yeah, it's got some nice elements. It's pretty well done, and my review should be posted. If not by the time this is live, then soon thereafter.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the different characters because I'm looking at the screenshots and there's a different person in each one. I'm like, do you play as different people? And you already
Yes.
answered that. So you do. And
Yep.
it's
So
20.
they're really diverse too.
Yeah.
And all of them are tied in some way. Like there's one world where it's kind of like Area 51. We'll just call it that.
Hmm.
And then the boss that you fight is kind of like an alien robot. So
Nice.
it all ties in with the theme where they're at
Mhm.
in a pretty fun way.
Cool. And yeah, it's 27.99. It's already out. I think it came out just a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
Do you know why Northern Lights has a brackets around the last S in the title?
No,
Okay.
I do not.
Just aesthetics then,
Yeah.
just something different. It's not meaningful in any way.
We'll see. We'll see when I reach the end.
Yeah, maybe it
If
ties in
something there is explained. Yeah, but
somehow. Cool. Yeah, well, that looks pretty neat. Do we know how long it takes to complete that one?
I would be surprised if it's more. It always takes me longer, I think, than than it does most people. I would say maybe 20 to 30 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty decent. Hmm. Yeah, very good. Listeners, let us know if you've heard of Hyke Northern Lights, if you'd like to play that. We didn't get any recommendations for demos to play during the week, so we don't have to do that. But the offer still stands. If listeners have a demo you'd like us to try, let us know and we will try them and report back. Anything else that we'd like to add before we close things off for the week?
I don't think so. It's been a pretty quiet week, hasn't it?
Yeah, honestly, kind of. Yeah, apart from a few games releasing, there wasn't much news though. There wasn't a lot. Nothing big was announced or talked about really. It was all just Mario Galaxy and yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
it.
no corporate announcements. No.
No, no one was retiring from Nintendo of America or anything like that.
Oh, EA did the EA got bought out? Was that made official? EA is now owned by
Oh, who?
Saudi Arabia.
Okay, who owned them before?
Well, they were public. They had multiple owners, and I think the Saudi Arabian company that now basically took them private and owns them again, um, owned 10%, and they just didn't accrue that. Yeah, it was like one of the biggest buyouts ever,
Oh,
billions.
wow. Okay. Will that change
Yeah, I
things
mean,
for anyone or not really?
oh, who knows? Probably, yeah. It was dumb for me to even bring it up here at the end of the podcast. That'll be
Okay.
we'll see how that carries out.
Yeah.
They kind of off my radar because EA, aside, lately it's changed, but they haven't really supported Nintendo devices too
Mm,
much.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, hopefully that means continued support or more support. I don't know. Don't know. Could be
we'll see.
interesting. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Kirk. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. Let us know your thoughts on all of the topics we've discussed today. Favorite Halloween titles, what you'd like to hear from PAX, and if you're playing any of the games that we've mentioned, of course, or anything for us to try. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we are on Blue Sky, so check us out over there. You can also support us at patreon.com/Pure Nintendo to get yourself a copy of the Pure Nintendo magazine. The latest issue is out now, and thank you to Jose for his comment on YouTube. He's looking forward to receiving the physical. Hopefully, you've got it since your message. Let us know. Definitely, yeah, keen to hear your thoughts. But yeah, thank you for everyone's support as always, and yeah, stay tuned for details on the next issue, which will likely be out towards the end of the year at this point. But we'll keep you posted on that one. But thank you once again, and until next week, game on, everybody. Bye.